Back at the Citrus Bowl, getting ready for tonight's matchup. The Oak Ridge Pioneers going up against the Jones Tigers. I'm Tom Morgan along with Ron Gerber. Had Hernan, our great statistician, up here with us in a vast booth. The biggest booth we'll be in all year, Ronnie, and it's great to be up here at the Citrus Bowl, isn't it?
This is the luxury of what football is all about.
Well, the captains, the co-captains getting ready to meet at midfield, and while we have an opportunity, let's look at Ron's rundown for tonight's game.
Yeah, you'll notice the Oak Ridge 648 versus Jones 590. That's 648 pounds of offensive line on the left side versus Jones 590. You get two big guys versus those three guys from Jones. That's a lot of weight. Then we've got Jones. They need to roll their quarterback toward Cantrell Rogers tonight, create some mismatches in the secondary, and try and get the ball to Cantrell. And then last, Oak Ridge needs to run the option and make Jones chase the ball. Cabrera does an excellent job of moving the ball around and keep giving it to different sources.
All right, they are meeting at midfield. Let's join in the conversation for the opening coin toss.
All right, guys, as we talked about before, sportsmanship. We want to see a lot of it out here now. You guys are the captains. Expect you to help me out here. Keep your teammates under control. Let's just play football. No talking back and forth, okay? You're the visitors. We'll flip the coin. Please call it while it's in the air, nice and loud. If I drop it, we'll do it again, okay? We have a regular Kennedy $50. Mr. Kennedy will be heads. The Eagle will be tails, okay? Nice and loud while it's in the air. Tails, he said. We got a head. We have a head. You've won the toss. You may kick, receive, or defer the second half. Defer. You want to reserve? Well, we'll get to you later on that. You're going to defer. Okay. Okay, gentlemen, you may kick or you may receive. You want to receive, okay? You're going to kick. Which way do you want to kick?
You want to kick that way.
Okay, gentlemen, if you put your back over there, and you put, gentlemen, if you put your back over here to this goal. Okay. White, we'll receive at this end. Okay, guys, let's shake hands. Have a heck of a ball game now.
Referee Larry LaBelle with the opening coin toss, and as you noticed, Jones won the toss, but they want the ball in the second half. And Ronnie, as we could tell, it is raining once again. It was not raining when we were on the field.
Yeah, it's starting to drizzle a little bit here. Some big drops coming down, actually, but it doesn't look like it's coming down in quantity yet. That's going to make the ball a little bit slick, make the surface a little bit slick. This is a great surface to play on, so that really shouldn't tear up the field a little bit too much.
Larry LaBelle is our referee tonight. Ken Griffin, the umpire. Lou Vaith, the line judge. Mike Kohler is the linesman, back judge. Guy Shaganaw. And Steve Anderson will run the clock. The coaches of these two teams, as you see the Oak Ridge Pioneers coming onto the field. Oak Ridge at 1-0. Jeff Wenstrom is the head coach. He's in his third year. He replaced the longtime head coach of the Pioneers, Lou Fiorelli, back in 1999. Berto Benjamin, excuse me, for Jones High School, is in his fourth year with the Tigers.
There you start seeing some really big drops coming down.
The field is in really good shape, though, Ronnie, having been through a rain already today.
Yeah, the field is in excellent shape. It drains very, very well. And this is early in the season. Hasn't had a lot of play on it yet, so the field is still holding up pretty well. But with some of those gigantic Oak Ridge offensive linemen, that's just going to help their cause a lot more tonight if the defensive line for Jones is going to be slipping around.
Number 11, Leonard Ellis, leads the Jones Tigers out of the tunnel. Leonard Ellis, an outstanding defensive back, one of the biggest guys on that Jones defense at 6'1", 180 pounds. Boy, Jones had a tough game last week, playing one of the perennial powers, not only here, but in all of the state of Florida. They lost to Evans last week, 27-3, and as was mentioned by Coach Gordon this week, this Jones Tiger team, one of the best they've faced in a long time.
Yeah, and this Jones team is also very young. You won't see a lot of seniors in here. It's a lot of juniors and a sprinkling of sophomores. They might still be a year away from being a great team, but this year Coach Benjamin is really excited. He felt they could have done a little bit better against Evans, They could have been up with a couple of them, eliminate a few of the mistakes. They could have been up 14-0 early on.
There's Coach Berto Benjamin. As you saw him in the pregame, he's excited about his football team. He did not hide the fact that, hey, we could have beaten that Evans football team had we gotten the breaks.
Yeah, he just cracks. You start mentioning a little bit about his players, his team, what he thinks about them, and he starts getting that sly little smile, and he just can't hide how proud he is of all of his players and what he thinks he can accomplish here over this season and into next season.
There's Jeff Wenstrom, the head coach of the Oak Ridge Pioneers. For the first time in 11 years, they won a home opener, and that's always got to be a good feeling to start the year.
Yeah, they started fast, and he does a great job of making in-game adjustments here and there. Last year when we saw them play Cypress Creek, he made some fabulous defensive adjustments that helped keep them in the game when it could have gotten out of hand and eventually turned around for them to win. He totally redesigned the offense in the offseason, going from sort of a ham bone attack now into more of a traditional I formation running situation where they're going to try.
Hey, how, baby? It was up, baby. We're going all the way, baby.
There you see some of the Jones kids pretty excited about their chances.
Ronnie, Oak Ridge has a huge offensive line, and if they get any kind of holes, Cabrera and this Demetrius Cox that they're really high on could have a big night.
Yeah, I mean, that offensive line, just as we were talking about earlier, the left side of that offensive line goes 600 and some odd pounds. I mean, that's like trying to catch a Volkswagen coming at you. It's a huge amount of weight to catch over the course of the game, and Jones just doesn't quite have that kind of size to match inside with those guys.
Richard Thomas will kick off. Demetrius Cox is one of the deep men for Oak Ridge. Also, Rashad Smith. As we get ready for the start of tonight's game, we're glad you could join us for our second high school game of the week for the 2001 season. And we are underway, and it's a line drive kick. Fielded by Cox at the 3, but I think he went out of bounds. I think he stepped out of bounds. So it'll be 1st and 10 for Oak Ridge. Their starting lineup: Edwin Cabrera is the quarterback. Cox and Wolfgram in the backfield. Lowe, Torres, and Knoll are the receivers. A big offensive line led by the seniors Brown and Jackson. Also Joseph Huggins and Williams. Huggins and Williams are guys that have been inserted in the starting lineup. Joseph, Brown, and Jackson are returning starters for that offensive line. Against the Jones defense that is outmanned by over 100 pounds on that defensive line. It's unbelievable the advantage that they have. Here is Cabrera. Pitches. This is Cox, and he flips to about the 8-yard line, so he gets out of bounds after a pretty good pickup. That Jones defensive front, again, only 6'1", 177 pounds. They've got Walter Lamar, Dante Whipper, and Abram Hollis on that starting defensive line. Harry Rucker is the middle linebacker that everybody likes at 5'11", 215.
Yeah, you see just flying around all over to the ball. That's a pretty intimidating place to have to start your first possession of the game. The big stadium, and to have to start 99 yards away from where you need to go. Just an intimidating visual feel for Oak Ridge.
2nd down, and Cabrera with a quarterback carry. Henry made the tackle. LaTravis Henry, the right inside linebacker. And it's a 1st down as Edwin Cabrera picks it up on the quarterback keeper.
Yeah, this is where that senior type of leadership that Cabrera can bring really pays off. The ball's a little bit wet. You're deep in your own half of the field. You need someone that can step up and make a smart decision. And as Coach Wenstrom said earlier in the pregame, he really respects the way Cabrera can make good decisions.
Quarterback keeper to the 15-yard line. About a 2-yard pickup for Edwin Cabrera, who gained 116 yards last week. Davis in on the tackle for the Tigers. It'll be 2nd down. There's that Jones defensive line averaging 177 pounds to Oak Ridge's 291 on that front line.
That is just an amazing amount of weight. differential.
Brown, number 73 at 323. Jackson at number 76 is 315. And here's Cabrera with a big hole. He gets across the 20 to the 21-yard line and will pick up another Oak Ridge first down. Just going up behind that big offensive line. Jermaine Jefferson was there to make the tackle.
Yeah, there you see some of the mismatch on the lines there. Oak Ridge's offensive line is just huge. This is an NFL-sized offensive line. Now, on the wet surface, it plays a lot more into it because you start getting those big guys leaning on the little guys. They start sliding around a little bit. Might lose some of that leverage they might normally have.
Oak Ridge has trip receivers to the right. I thought it was a first down. They say it's a third down. They're going to run it with Cox, and he's hit behind the line of scrimmage. And a big loss to the 15-yard line as number 32, Star Davis, came blitzing in to make the hit.
Yeah, so you've got these huge offensive line. If they can't get through that defensive line into the linebackers' scrape routes, it's going to be a long night for Oak Ridge. The Jones linebacker, Star Davis, doing an excellent job seeing the hole, reading, reacting, and filling that hole and stuffing that before it can get anywhere.
Wayne Hans is going to have to punt it away as Oak Ridge had a golden opportunity. Here comes a big rush, but Hans gets the ball away. It's going to be down at the Oak Ridge 46-yard line. So Jones has great field position to begin 1st and 10. It's a 26-yard punt as we take a look at that Jones offense led by quarterback Bernard Morris. He's a 6'3", 185-pounder. Nate Collier is the tailback. Tyrone Harper is the fullback. Cantrell Rogers, the big play guy at wide receiver. Alexis Taylor, Ingram, Taylor, and Evans on that offensive line. And they'll run the first play, trying to run off right tackle, and they tried to run with the tailback Collier, and nothing to it, as Tony Nelson came up to make the stop. Nelson, Jackson Brown, and Jackson. That's C and J Jackson will have to differentiate on that line. Bates, Houghton, Wolf, Graham, and Smith, good linebackers. Telsant and Cox and Adams in that Pioneer secondary. Second down. We are in the first quarter. They give it to the tailback. He bounces off one man. And then a host of Oak Ridge tacklers at the 42. He'll pick up about 4 yards after all that running by Nate Collier.
Yeah, all those big guys you've got down there, you get the one littlest guy you can find out on the field, and he's just pinballing around in there, tries to go up the middle, ends up bouncing out to the outside because there was nowhere to go up the middle. Oak Ridge did a good job of jamming it, and you'll see Collier just sort of spin to the outside, change hands with the ball, tries to get something, but a couple of guys grab him and pull him down, but he's still got a nice gain on it.
Cantrell Rogers split to the top of your screen. He's that fleet-footed wide receiver, but they're going to play fake and throw down the right side, and it's incomplete. They could not bring it down as number 80, Abram Hollis, tried to make a catch of a high pass, but couldn't bring it down. Kenny Bates was there on the coverage.
Yeah, doing a good job of trying to move your quarterback around, create some mismatches. Oak Ridge's defensive secondary consists of 2 corners and 1 safety. So by moving your quarterback around, you're going to draw the linebackers and try and force that safety to commit. It's going to cause some real big mismatches if they roll the other way and start rolling towards Cantrell.
Thomas is back to punt for the first time, so each team has had a punt tonight. And it'll be an end-over-end punt. Cox is going to let it roll into the end zone, and that's where it will go. 1st and 10 at the 20 for Oak Ridge after a 40-yard punt by Richard Thomas. And so better field position to start this second drive for Oak Ridge. They started deep in their own territory first time out, and now Cabrera has some room to work with, Ronnie.
Yeah, and you can start building a little bit more confidence here. You're not backed up into your own end zone. You can sort of get out into some plays. Cabrera shouldn't be shy about pitching the ball out here. He's not worried about pitching it into his end zone like in the previous start where they were at their own 1.
You'll hear the bands of both teams at halftime, and it should be a great halftime show. These two schools usually put on dazzling displays. This is Cabrera in the open field. Edwin Cabrera carrying that football like a loaf of bread, though, but he held on to it, got to the 35 after about a 15-yard pickup on that first down play.